I'm headed down to Sangiacomo Vineyards. Steve Sangiacomo and his family farm a lot of land down in Sonoma Valley. Probably the first single vineyard designate I ever saw in a Sonoma wine. I'd be curious to talk to them about farming on that scale and at the same time producing incredible grapes. I mean, your family's been farming in Sonoma Valley for how long? For multiple generations at least.
Yeah, we're third generation farmers, my brother, sister, and I, and we've been farming here for over 80 years. So my grandfather immigrated from Italy in early 1900s, and he, found a beautiful ranch in Sonoma Valley, and he grew this wonderful multi-generational business. So we have second generation working together with the third generation. So we're carrying on the family tradition.
That's cool. So, but he didn't plant grapes when he came over.
He did. So yeah, it was orchards. At that business, it was fruit trees, pears, apples, cherries. And as the pear market was in decline, they quickly realized that, this isn't gonna, you can grow fresh fruit all over the world now, and canned fruit, we're all canneries. And we realized that, this business is a dying business. Right. So he pulled 300 acres of fully developed pear trees, got ready to plant wine grapes. We had our first vineyard was planted in 1969. So they had kind of got their feet wet on growing wine grapes and kind of what it took. And they saw the market growing and, in the 70s and, in 60s right. and 70s.
So when did they pull the 300 acres?
1980, 81. They'd already planted 160 acres in 1969.
But you actually did grow up doing vineyard. I mean, like when was the first time you drove a tractor?
10 years old, driving tractor at 12. And now I think, the OSHA would have a heartache watching right. 12-year-olds. But I remember growing junior high, working harvest, and then getting off a tractor, going to 7th grade orientation, and then going to orientation and coming back and working the rest of the day.
Back on the tractor.
Back on the tractor. Yeah.
What's your favorite memory about your grandparents?
Them being out in the field. My grandmother was she had a garden, just a beautiful garden. Obviously a wonderful Italian cook. She could cook meals that, still make me drool to this day.
So so 3 generations of family. Does everybody always agree on exactly what should be done?
We definitely work with our first generation, my grandparents. My grandfather had us out in the vineyards. There's pictures of us with him while he's pruning a tree. We're right next to him, right? Mm-hmm. So he loved having us out there. So we had that relationship with the first generation. The second generation, we're actually working together. And, I think we're, very fortunate to have that, depth of experience of them. They've gone through the trials and tribulations of farming, which the list goes on of the difficulty of it and the challenges. And they have that kind of rock and the foundation that we can rely upon and learn from.
You don't make wine.
We don't make wine. If I had a quarter for every time that's been asked, I probably wouldn't have to grow grapes. But I think it's, definitely with our generation right now, my brother, sister, and I, we're focusing on just growing wine grapes and just, pour our heart and soul on that. And I think the next generation, there's 7, so I think one of them may want to do it.
But so when you get a bottle of whoever it is that's doing the vineyard designate, and it's a great wine, and it has Sangiacomo Vineyards on it, it's got to feel cool.
Yeah, no, we're proud of it. We started our first vineyard designate was 1979, mm-hmm. and I think and then we quickly in the 80s, as we planted more wine grapes, kind of that part of our business grew, and I think we were kind of at the forefront of that with a few other vineyards, and I think we realized that it's an opportunity for consumers to really taste special sites. Getting a bottle of wine that's the artistry of the grape grower and the hard effort and blood, sweat, and tears of growing it, and then a winemaker the same way. It's like my dad said, it's always nice. I enjoyed a glass of wine better than a can of pears, I can tell you that. So.
I think that's fair. You know. Well, cool. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with me about this. It's great to meet you because I've known the vineyard for a long time and the wines from it. But it's always good to meet the people who actually grow the grapes. So it's very cool.
Well, thanks for joining me in this
historic, big drafty barn.
Historic Sonoma Valley barn here.
Love talking to guys like Steve Sangiacomo. Just a good guy, just someone that you really enjoy talking to, who cares about what he's doing, and he just wants to grow great grapes and be a farmer.